But back to Salzburg. One day in early June '45, these two little girls with an adult woman came by the headquarters, and I had them stop. I picked them up and had someone take our picture. Then I put them down again and they went on their way. I was not to meet them again for 50 years. For years I looked at the picture and wondered what had happened to them. Were they alive? Were they dead? Where were they? How did they make out? I wondered for years. Then in the 1990s, I wondered if I could find them with the help of the internet, which was then beginning to be known for finding people. I also wanted to find the house where I was billeted in and return some loot to the owner. The 3rd Division had taken over the house after kicking the owner out with just 15 minutes notice. They had first given him 45 minutes, but when the owner complained they could not do it that fast, the commander said, well, you got 15 minutes to get out. So obviously everything was left. Bill Sheldon said that when they fought their way into Germany, the word came down that the gloves were off as it pertained to the Germans. Therefore, the harsh treatment of the owners of the house. Didn't they do that to the Jews anyway? Austrians are not Germans, of course, but as they voted for Hitler 98%, that will do until a better description comes along. On the other hand, didn't that make us like the Germans? Well, of course not. We're the good guys. That's different. From what evidence I could find, the owner of the house was an engineer of some kind. I had an envelope from the house with the word engineer on it, but no name or address. I have one picture from the house that shows some German armored vehicles mired in the mud in Russia, I suppose. This would be no stranger to the 3rd Infantry, especially after its experience in Italy. The Army turned a blind eye to looting, but then it would have been hypocritical for it to make a lot over individual soldiers looting when Russia, Poland, and other nations were looting entire factories and anything else of value they could find. I am sure the Army had no sense of shame in this respect because the policy was to treat the Germans harshly anyway. Bill Sheldon learned that earlier. Besides, the looting by individual soldiers fit in with that policy of making the Germans suffer. The U.S. also stopped shipments of foodstuffs into Germany for a couple of years after the war, besides. I was in the master bedroom for some reason. I was still just a private, and I don't know how I managed to get assigned to it. After some thought, I was probably replacing someone who was no doubt returning home. The 3rd Division had been overseas since the invasion of North Africa, so anyone in headquarters had lots of points accumulated, which put them at the top of the list for going home. A point system was developed to determine who went home first. The 3rd Infantry guarded President Roosevelt when he went to North Africa to meet with Churchill.